I think she's gonna be amazing for like base star chart until they rework primaries and secondaries, and then it's gonna be like stupid.
Oh my god! What was that? What? Let's get out our kit gun. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. You know what?
Let's try this on Steel Path.
I never thought the words Zephyr is fun would be leaving my lips, and here we are in 2021, and it is Zephyr's time to shine. It is her time to soar. It is her time to reach for the stars. She is the flappiest birdist. She is the thickest birdist. She is the damagiest birdist. And if you have not tried the new Zephyr, frankly, you are missing out because it is ridiculous. So, first things first, why don't we talk about why she's so thicky? Right now, frankly, you really don't need a whole lot to make this work. Frankly, just her passive by itself is enough, and that's where we're gonna start. Because what did they do? They said, hey, Floppy Boib is cool, right? And we're like, no. And so they were like, okay, let's make it more fun. And I was like, okay, how are you gonna make it more fun? And they're like, why don't we just give her 150% critical chance while she floats? Now, on paper, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's not that bad, right? Like, that's not gonna be enough to really make anything shine, right? Like, that's just what, like a pistol gambit mod or something like that? Like, it's not something that's so over the top, right? And you're wrong. You're wrong. Note, first off, that when it comes to being airborne, you can just aim glide. You don't even have to use your wand. So, it's nice as being floatiest birdist is cool because you can also use aviator plus turbulence plus aerodynamic, which is frankly a whole lot of like damage negation. Frankly, the only time you're ever getting hurt with Zephyr is if you touch the ground and for some strange reason get like a acolyte, get negated and your abilities don't work and you're then screaming, why didn't I put rolling guard on? Because you're dead because you have nothing to cleanse yourself because you thought that turbulence and aerodynamic and aviator would be enough. Totally not speaking from experience here. Anywho, you would be sort of right and sort of wrong. 150% more critical chance isn't necessarily gonna be a whole lot. And of course, since it's the floatiest birdist, obviously these things are going to be most effective on guns. That means primaries and secondaries, the class of weapon that has been notoriously... Who's she? I only know melee. But, this is where things get real funny, because not only does her one have her floaty, which is great for, you know, the aforementioned reasons, but for anyone who has, you know, played Zephyr in the past, this is where things get really interesting with Zephyr, because her tornadoes not only have a suction, so, you know, they're just better pull, but they also have this cute little mechanic, one that, you know, let you shoot them and they would absorb the damage type that was most absorbed. So, you know, if you did mostly slash damage, then they would start doing slash damage as their primary damage type, etc. This also has a fun little hidden aspect, and that is it'll also multiply any critical damage by 200%. So, yes, that is correct. It is not said in the ability, but it's there. 200%. This is plus 100% damage that you already do from just shooting the stupid things. And this is on top of your 150% critical chance from floating. So you're looking at like 350% chance of more critical and a multiplicative damage, the type that's already there, plus whatever status effects. So if you're using a beam weapon, if you're using something that is just like status oriented and you're using faction type, statuses, then you're gonna melt things super quickly. And this is not even considering Helminth. With the Helminth system, you're able to subsume an ability. I've got rid of 2. Y'all can at me as much as you want, as I already said it. 2 is a glorified pull.
It's a glorified larva, it's a glorified goth augment, it is a glorified trash, okay? It's not trash, it's not trash, but it's trash.
When you introduce Helminth into the equation, this is where it gets even nuttier. So there's 3 options. You can either increase your damage, you can increase utility, or you can increase survivability. These are the 3 options you have with Helminth. And the options that I have enjoyed the most so far have been Rest and Rage, specifically Rage, because that gives you damage vulnerability, and it also increases the movement speed of enemies affected. Breach Surge is the other one I've really liked. It gives you more protection. The third option for those who are like,
oh, but your build, it doesn't have any protections. It doesn't have Rolling Guard. Where's adaptation? I'm gonna die.
But if you want to mitigate some of that, you can run Pillage. As for weapons, I have discovered primarily, I'm using my kit gun for the most damage. This is a Gaze kit gun that is currently using Pax Seeker. Pax Bolt and I believe Pax Charge are both really solid options as well. Pax Bolt increases your energy efficiency, so it's a solid option if you're feeling like really energy hungry. Pax Seeker just adds more explosive things with headshots, and we'll get into the synergy for that in a moment. And of course, Pax Charge will deal with your energy consumption, your ammo consumption, by turning it into a heat sink weapon instead. For primaries, I have primarily been going through 3 separate options, both the spear guns, the Ferox and the Scourge. The Ferox is nice as a secondary way of pulling enemies towards you if you think that for whatever reason you just don't want to recast tornadoes at that exact moment. It'll also add some extra status effects. You can put viral on there and just have some more status going on while you're shooting with your kit gun or your new core if you wanted to. And the second spear gun, Scourge, is useful in the Pax Seeker scenario because it will proc headshot seeking missiles, more or less. So when you throw that down in the middle of your tornadoes and then shoot through it, you can proc Pax Seeker much easier because they're already headshot prone. The third option that I've personally tested so far is the Bosmu. The Bosmu is really interesting with Hunter Munitions, which will propagate infinitely, similar to Breach Surge. So you can have infinite slash procs going along with your Breach Surge procs, which is surprisingly effective. I've been running viral on my Bosmu, and yeah, it's worked very well on everything that I've tested it on. Again, some other side options that could be viable depending on your personal playstyle, and this isn't even getting into mods and the primary and secondaries that can utilize the new internal bleeding or the hemorrhage mods, which I think are going to be really, really interesting to play around with, especially on Zephyr, who can get all this extra critical chance. Some runner-ups again would be sniper rifles, Rubico, Vectis. All of those I think will be fantastic if you want to have a damage that is just a little bit more consolidated and condensed. The Chalk Core, the Kuba Chalk Core, also I believe will be able to utilize all of this crit multiplication very, very well, along with the Death Cube and its primary weapon, which will allow you to put on the 3 pistol vigilante mods, which will further increase any critical for your primary weapon. And that's it. That is the build. That is Zephyr. That is the new dive bombing, floating, just monster of the skies Zephyr. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and check me out on Twitch where I am live pretty much every single day of the week. And join the Discord, hang out. I'd love to talk to you. Let me know how the build worked. Let me know if you have any other ideas for Zephyr in the comments below. And, you know, get to it. Hopefully this doesn't get nerfed. I think that it would be a really, really sad thing if it did, especially since this is just making Zephyr fun again and making primaries and secondaries feel fun again. But I can also see them thinking this is too strong. You know, try it while you can. Thanks again for watching, and see you again, Tenno, in the void.